Welcome to Showcase of Homes on Lifestyles. I'm your host, Janine Buckner, and today we're here with our two new guests, Debbie McGuire and Vivian Lyons from Keller Williams Realty in Great Falls. Debbie and Vivian, it's so great to have you back.
Thank you so much.
You know, we got so much out of our last meeting together, and you told us so much about what sellers can do to get their house ready and to really get the most money that they can. And then that leads into pricing. I know you wanted to touch upon this a little bit. Pricing, I think, can be a little bit confusing, and people have different expectations.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about pricing in today's market?
I think the first thing I want to say is that condition, location, and price all fit together. So if your condition isn't the top, then you've got to price accordingly. If you've got a location issue where you back to a huge busy road and your neighbor sells for a certain price but your house has a different backyard or a different setting, you have to take that all into consideration when you're pricing. So we first deal with condition, but then we balance that with how to do the pricing.
Well, and that's a good point, because I know
location.
some people, they may have more square footage than another house, so they automatically might assume their house is worth more, but then you really do have to tie it back into location. If their location isn't as nice as another, or if they have some obstacle they have to work around, then pricing is always something they can use to
We
get its
just
market
went
value.
through an interesting exercise, as a matter of fact, for an existing client who has a very large home. And we looked at the sales of large properties versus the sales of upgraded properties. And what we found was that in this market, upgrades are trumping square footage.
That's very,
and
very
it was very
interesting.
consistent.
That's a great message, because I think it's only natural. A lot of people probably don't realize that. And I know last time we talked about updates and upgrades, and I know you can really help people understand the difference. And the upgrades are what gives your house the edge. I mean, the updates are maintenance. So that's something they just need to do.
Right. Updates are still important because you've got to be at the same condition as the competition. But you're right, upgrades are what give you the edge.
Right. And so that's such an interesting point, though, that you found upgraded homes are trumping on the square footage.
Right. And then, of course, as Debbie was saying, too, there are negative impacts like backing to a main road, but then there are positives as well, like waterfront property or golf course property will generally sell a little bit higher than the identical property that doesn't have those features. So you have to factor it all in together.
And the other thing is, too, when you look at active listings versus sold listings, so many of our sellers, the first time we meet with them, they look at what's on the market. And we have to give them a reality check sometimes, particularly on the higher end custom homes, as to what they're really selling for. Because so many sellers still think their homes are worth what they were in 2005, and we are way off that number. So we don't mean to bring bad news, but the market is the reality.
And you all have been together now for 15 years, is that right? You know the trends, you know where the market's at right now, and you do this every day, so that really, you're a great consultant and advisor to them. And I know you're based in Great Falls, so pricing, I'm sure, is so important, because you probably do deal with custom homes or homes that are very unique, and they may be hard to price, I would think.
Right. We do the best we can. We obviously never want to leave money on the table for our clients. But if you overprice, then it's going to sit and sit and sit, and then statistically you'll end up selling for less in the long run. So we really work hard to try and price as accurately as we possibly can. But as you said, custom homes really are a challenge. And it's also important to understand that pricing varies. You know, people will read national statistics, but pricing and value varies not only from community to community, but sometimes from street to street.
Right. Yeah, and you have a good knowledge, I know, of this whole area, so you know those streets exactly, kind of where the premiums are and where they may have to adjust.
You have to realize that, you know, in this area, the average sales price that you get all the statistics on is around 600 and something for a single family home. So if it's gone up 10 or 15%, that doesn't necessarily mean a home at 1.5 or 1.2 is going to have the same appreciation over the past year than that one does. So.
Right. Now, I think the best thing for anybody to do who's thinking of selling should consult with you, and you can come in and talk to them, and also probably give them tips to really get the best price. As you said, you don't want to leave money on the table, so it sounds like you can advise them on how to get the most that they can in today's market.
Yeah, we do advise on upgrades, updates, staging, photography, decorating. We've got an association now with Lavender Hill Interiors, and we can help with some of those decorating touches. And there are a lot of ways you can put together a really attractive package on the internet without necessarily spending a fortune to get it done.
Right. And you know how to tie the whole package together, which is great. So it's
Absolutely.
very
That's what it
turnkey. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. They just need to call you.
Right.
You'll take care of it.
The house has to have a big bow on it.
Right.
You know,
It
you have to
really
have
does.
it really presented beautifully in this market, or the buyers will pass you by.
Right. Well, I'm always so impressed by your knowledge, and I always
you.
learn something. So let everybody know where to find you. I'm sure you have a good website and your contact information so they can call you.
I'll let you do that.
They can call our contact line, which is 703-406-9009, or they can email us or visit our website, which is teamgreatfalls.com. And we're located in the heart of Great Falls at 774A Walker Road, right behind the post office.
Well,
And
thank
come
you.
January 26th, then you know, it's free. It's a community service that we've been doing now for 3 years, and
Our seller seminar,
yeah,
right?
and it's been very well received. Our seller seminar has.
So they should either call or visit your website for that and RSVP, I'm assuming, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
right.
Great. Well, thank you. And Team Great Falls, that's such an easy website to remember. So it's great to have you, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Janine.